Hello Indians fans, welcome to another edition of Indians Corner presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm Insurance and the Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. I'm voice of the Indians, Jamie Brockman, and we're going to begin today by going through some scores and updating you on Oskaloosa activities over the past week. And we've got a great show lined up for you today as well. We're going to talk to Oskaloosa head football coach Jake Jenkins. Also, we'll talk to the new Oskaloosa band director who's directed the Marching Indians this year, Chris Copeland. We'll talk to Katie Kane, who heads up the Dance Dynamics program, and a couple of the captains from that dance team will be joining us today as well. And Jennifer Comfort will talk Oskaloosa volleyball. Before we get to that, let's update you on what's happened in sports over the past week here in the local area. Of course, Oskaloosa football opened up the season this past Friday with a 29-22 win over Pella Christian to start the season 1-0. Other football scores from teams that are in Oskaloosa's district this year: South Tama fell to Benton. Benton beat them 51-7. Grinnell in our district, they defeated Mid-Prairie Wellman 47-20. Knoxville defeats Fairfield 16-9. PCM in overtime defeated Newton 29-28, and Pella defeated DCG, giving Coach Jay McKinstry his 200th career win, 14-0 the final there. Those were all non-district games, as they are the first few weeks here of the season. Oskaloosa volleyball had a strong showing on Thursday at home, as you'll hear Coach Comfort talk about in a bit, as they swept Bondurant-Farrar 3-0, winning 25-7, 25-22, and 25-21. The Oskaloosa girls swim team was also in action late last week, actually. On Thursday, they were at Ottumwa, and they had some great performances. Sydney Slocum, Hannah Cassens, Sophia Dykstra, Shannon Linder were some of the leaders for the Oskaloosa girls swim team. Cassens had an all-time PR in her 50-meter free leg of the 200 medley relay. Sophia Dykstra had first and second in the 200 and 500 free. Also, Shannon Linder was first in the 100 backstroke and second in the 100 butterfly. Those are just some of the leaders for the Oskaloosa girls swim team in their meet at Ottumwa last week. Next in action for them will be Tuesday at Grinnell. So that gets you up to date on some things that have happened since our last show sports-wise, and we will be back and we'll talk to the coaches. That's coming up next here on the Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable! Decision.
Welcome back to the Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. I'm Jamie Brockman, and we're going to talk Oskaloosa football as, of course, the season got underway this past Friday night, and the Indians are out to a 1-0 start following their 29-22 win at home over Pella Christian. We are joined by Oskaloosa head football coach Jake Jenkins. First of all, Coach, congratulations on the win. How's it feel to be 1-0?
It feels great. Thank you. Thanks for having us again. And it wasn't pretty. I've been telling people that, but we're staying super positive with our kids because a win's a win.
Yeah.
So I'm ecstatic to go 1-0 and to have a good start to the season. It's so hard to play catch up if you don't win the first one. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we're really excited because we had a lot of young guys playing. They stepped up and they fought for it, and they ended up taking the game.
Yeah, there were obviously a lot of question marks coming in. You answered some of those in your scrimmage with Ottumwa the previous Friday, but obviously a lot of holes to fill, a lot of new faces.
Absolutely.
In some of the big positions. And let's start at quarterback. I know you had three kids battling for the job. Will Schultz wins the position, and I can see why. I mean, that kid can run the football, and he quickly emerged as a leader on this football team early in that game Friday.
Yeah, he did. Will's a special athlete. He's a sophomore, but he's as fast as anybody out there, and he's quick. He's intelligent, and he's a competitor. So you saw him out there running. His legs are dangerous. He's a good passer as well. We're just developing him into that varsity passer. And it's a big jump from your freshman year to the varsity field. And for most kids, it takes a couple years to get used to it. And we're throwing him in that role. We believe in him, and he did a good job. And there's a lot of room for improvement all over the place. But overall, we're really happy with his performance.
I did think he looked really comfortable, though, in the pocket. I mean, he didn't look like he panicked. It looked like he'd been there and done that before.
Yeah, he's calm, cool, and collected. I don't think he had a lot of nerves. He just this is what I'm doing next. He's used to playing varsity sports, as you know, as we saw it in basketball, and he's just so talented. He can do a lot of sports. So no, I thought he handled that pressure really well, and he was coachable. Like I said, we made mistakes, but you're always going to make mistakes, and it's how you respond to them that matters. So we're really excited to move forward to week 2 and to make improvements on lines, and then with our reads and things like that.
So Schultz was the leading rusher for the team. I think he had 27 rushing attempts for 112 net yards, which was pretty impressive, and a rushing touchdown as well as a passing touchdown. Let's talk about the game now in general. Then we'll talk about some more of the individuals. But scoreless first quarter. Both teams kind of feeling the other out. You moved the ball well, just didn't get any points in the first quarter. You did have a nice drive to finish the first quarter that set up your first score early in the second quarter. So talk about the end of the first quarter and start of that second quarter.
I really wanted to be out on defense right off the bat, so I'm kind of going to the beginning of the game. We had 3 and out, and we were playing pretty well. We were putting them in a good position, good field position, and it's like it's those little mistakes, those little penalties and things, because we'd drive, we'd shoot ourselves in the foot, back it up, and we might drive, but we weren't able to cap early on like we wanted to. So again, just little mistakes here and there that are drive killers, and if we can avoid those, if we can clean things up, we're going to score earlier in the game, and then it's going to be a different game.
Absolutely. So we did get on the board there. In fact, we jumped out to a 13-0 lead with 2 second quarter scores.
Yeah.
Will Schultz to Wyatt Creer for the first touchdown. That was just 30 seconds into the second quarter, and that was a nice 22-yard connection. Wyatt Creer just straight up the middle, and and Will saw him the whole way.
Yeah, they were actually in cover 3, and so when we had 2x2 set, we have 4 guys, and so he's taught, even as a sophomore quarterback, to look off the safety and throw backside, and that's exactly what he did right there. So he looked off the safety and threw backside, and we knew it was there, and we were on the headset talking about it. We said, if he looks that safety off and he throws that ball in the money, this is a touchdown waiting to happen. And fortunately, he made a great play. Wyatt made a good catch, and then we got on the board.
About 3 minutes later, you scored again on a nice drive, and Tyler Miller got in the end zone on a 2-yard run.
A lot of people are going to key Tyler Miller because he's Tyler Miller. I mean, he's quick, he's fast, he's athletic, he's electric on the field, and so they really keyed him. But he did a really good job pushing through that, even though their game plan was built around stopping him.
So Oskaloosa was out to a 13-0 lead with about 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. And then Pella Christian put together 2 nice drives and actually took the lead 16-13. They had a 68-yard drive and then a short drive, but they had two-point conversions. And now you find yourselves behind 16-13 and not a lot of time on the clock. And then what a drive your team mounted there to end the first half. 64 yards, 9 plays, and you score with no time left on the clock. So tell me about that drive and what you were thinking.
That was ideal, because when they scored us and they took the lead, I was having flashbacks of the year before going, oh my gosh, whatever can go wrong is going wrong. So what are we going to do to make sure that doesn't happen again? So I was trying to pump up the defense to hold them out, and they're so balanced. They did a good job with the jet and then the jet dive, just because it is so difficult when they're so balanced. You can't really send it back or strong side, or you can't really guess, because you're going to guess wrong. So we were playing fundamental defense and trying to find our groove. Offense throws together a great drive, which was awesome, exactly what we needed, especially at that time in the game. And so that was uplifting. Then we also thought, hey, we're going to get the ball in the third quarter too. Yep. So a lot of good things going for us at that point in the game.
So you went into the locker room at halftime leading 19-16. What were your discussions there and your adjustments at halftime?
Well, it's a lot of little mistakes. This is a close game because of a lot of mistakes that we're making. Let's minimize those mistakes. Let's make some good adjustments, and let's go out there and take this game over. So defensively, we did make some big adjustments, and it paid off big time. We put pressure on a lot of our guys, but they handled it really well. We had done things I didn't plan on implementing this early in the season, just because I want to focus on the fundamentals. But at that point, I thought it was important to make those adjustments, and we did, and they handled it very, very well.
Obviously, you were without one of your leading guys on defense, Aaron Blom, which probably impacted the defense a little bit, I'm sure, on Friday. But you mentioned the jet sweep that Pella Christian ran, yeah. and it seemed like we just ran it over and over and over and over, and it was either jumping the quarterback keeping it or handing it off to Boonder or Wickhart later in the game. We struggled to stop that a lot. So what did you find? Because you did adjust and eventually found a way to stop it.
We did. A lot of times we're 4 down. We're unique in the fact we do a lot of different things. Put a lot of pressure on our guys. We run a 3-man front, a 4-man front, a 5, and a 6, and we have 10 different coverages we can put together. So we do a lot of things. We're pretty advanced. I feel like for high school, but our guys get it and they work at it. So we're implementing those things, and we tried some different fronts, and that really worked. And then we set more pressure, and that's something I said we're going to put more pressure if we are going man, if we're going to send 6 in the box. And they didn't pick that up, and they didn't handle it very well. They got one on us once over the top, a crossing route that we saw, and that was man to man, and the kid, our outside backer let his eye off him for a second, trying to stop the run. But those adjustments did work. But when you're going man like that, you have to be 100% with everybody who's covering who, because if one guy's left open, it can really hurt you. So that worked for us.
So Pella Christian scores in the third quarter to go ahead 22-19, and that was their final score of the game. And then Oskaloosa put together a nice 51-yard drive and tied the game on a 31-yard field goal by sophomore kicker Carson Jensko, who of course was filling in for Aaron Blom. There were a lot of drives where you think, man, if Blom was there, that's a guaranteed 3.
Yeah.
But you gave Carson Jensko the shot, and he came through.
That came straight. That was just a gut feeling, because offensively, we were making a lot of mistakes. We had put the ball on the ground. We've had some bad snaps. There's a lot of little mistakes there. And I was just thinking, I don't think we're going to convert right now. I think it would be wise to give him a shot, try to clean things up, PAT field goal. And I asked him, I said, are you ready? Are you ready to go for kick field goal? Are you warm? Did you warm up after halftime? And he goes, oh yeah, I'm ready, coach. And just the way that he said it, he was so confident. And my gut feeling was, let's give him a chance to tie this thing up. And so I was just going to stick with it no matter what. And fortunately, he came through and he had a great kick.
Yeah, he did. A 31-yard field goal that tied the game at 22-22, and then you got the game winner later on there early in the fourth, or about 5.5 minutes to go in the game.
Yep, that was huge. And then here we go, defense again. And I'm glad we had figured a few things out. I could tell, they had a lot of guys cramping. They had a lot of two-way guys. They were getting tired. And so I thought, defense, we got to keep doing our adjustments and keep throwing little wrinkles in there. We can hold them out, and if we could shut them out the rest of the game, we knew we had it. So defense stepped up big, and then I really liked the management at the end of the game with Coach Dowd and the offensive staff. They did an excellent job really working the clock, because that was the only thing I told them: work that clock. I don't even care if we score or not, just get that clock, and that's what they did. So it was fun.
29-22, the final. Oskaloosa gets the win to start out 1-0 on the season. And we mentioned Will Schultz and what he did on the ground, 27 rushes for 112 yards and a touchdown. But, he had a 72-yard touchdown run called back on what they said was a block in the back, which we saw the replay. We didn't see. I'd like to hear your vantage point on that. That was a great run on a botched snap on a punt that Will Schultz just made happen.
That's what we like so much about Will. He can turn a bad situation into a really good situation quickly. And we talk about this as a staff a lot. So no, I didn't like seeing the snap, and I'm going, oh gosh, worst case scenario type deal. And then you just watch him do some remarkable things, and you see him showcase his athleticism. Yeah, it was a touchy call. We didn't get it. I don't believe that it was there, but we respond. And so the kid came off, said, we'll look at film later. We got to flush it, and we got to move forward. And so I thought our kids did a good job. There were calls both ways. There were some mistakes, just like everybody makes, and I thought we did a good job flushing it and moving forward.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of your other skill players now, individuals. So Will Schultz obviously stepped in and did very good in his varsity debut. You moved Tyler Miller to the backfield now, and he didn't have as many touches as I thought he might have coming in. But what he did more, though, was block. I mean, he's a tremendous blocker.
He is, and that's part of the reason that we put him back there. We're going to get him touches, and we'll find other creative ways to get him out of the backfield. He's just a guy, he's got to have the ball in his hands, and you got to keep him on the field because he makes you that much better. Defensively, too, this is his first time really starting at the linebacker position, and he did a good job there, too, but again, doesn't have a lot of varsity experience there. So those guys, we're going to put our best players on the field, and we're going to keep coaching them up and get them to the point where they need to be. But he had an excellent effort on the offense and defensive side of the ball.
Wyatt Career obviously had a touchdown reception. He also had an interception on defense.
Yes, Wyatt he played a fantastic game. He's another one of our linebackers. We call it the brave position. He's a hybrid, so he's a safety and he's also a linebacker. He's probably our most solid tackler right now. when he's playing linebacker, and then over the top, maybe those baseball skills coming to help him out with that. He's really good over the top as well, and his interception was just fantastic play. And then at the end of the game, when we threw a little zone-based bubble and threw it out to him, it was thrown behind him, makes a spectacular catch, and then he has to get like 4 or 5 yards, make guys miss to get the first down, and that was just an unbelievably athletic play. And he was just like, I want to take this game over, I want to win it right now, and he did it with that play. So big thing come through from our captain.
A couple other big plays made in the game. Noah Van Vilhuizen had a huge catch and run after the catch. I think it was a 40-yard gain. It was good to see Noah get involved. And then Isaac Schultz, you know what you have with him from a year ago, but he had some big plays too.
Absolutely. We actually had a corner get banged up, one of our starters. So Isaac went in and ended up being a two-way guy for the second half. And so we were coaching on the fly. He's worked it, but he doesn't have a ton of experience out there, but he's fast and he's tough and he's determined. So he did a good job stepping up for us, and it caught one on him, and we talked about responding. You got to be lined up right, you got to know what we're doing, and he handled that really well. I said you got to have a short-term memory, because they're going to take another shot at you and you're either going to pick it or you're going to have a pass breakup, and they tried it again, and he was in great position, and he sold out and made a great play. So he did a great job on offense and on defense.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the Lions now. Offense, defensive lines, what kind of a grade do you give them after week 1?
Well, that's a good question. We were looking at film today, and we do our grading is done with our Indian feathers, so the things that they do really well, and each position has their own goals, and it's pretty cool how it's set up. Overall, if it was the old teacher in me, I'd say B, C. We're pretty average. Their effort was there, but we're making too many mental mistakes on offensive line and defensive line right now. They know that, and they know that we have really high expectations, and if we want to be the team we want to be, we need to start cleaning those things up, and penalties really hurt us too at times. So that's where we are right now, but again, it's week 1. There's a ton of potential in there, and we're going to make so much improvement between week 1 and week 2. So
I mentioned on the broadcast that traditionally the biggest improvements do come between week 1 and week 2 of the football season, and so you work on that this week, and now Friday night, you actually the next 2 weeks you go on the road. But this Friday it's at Washington, and Washington year after year is a competitive program, so I'm sure they're going to bring it on Friday.
Oh yeah. And we've gone back and forth the last 3 years. We're 2-1 against them, but every game has been a really tough game. So I watched them on film today, and just to kind of get a feel for things, it's the same coach from last year, so I anticipate a really good game because they're tough. Their line is one of their strong points, offensively and defensively. So we've got to fix those mistakes that we've been making. We have to be very physical this Friday because we're going to go against a tough team.
Oh yeah, and when you mention physical, Washington is physical.
Yes.
And I don't know what other way to describe it other than at times maybe even a little dirty. I know there's been some back and forth between Oskaloosa and Washington in the last few years. So is that also a focus of yours? Is hey, walk away, let it go, get to the next play type thing?
Absolutely. Our guys are taught to always walk away. We're always taught to talk with our pads and things like that. If no one talked at all back and forth, I'd be a really happy camper because I think it's just distraction from the game. So yeah, our guys are taught to always walk away, always watch language, and that goes for coaches as well. At practice, we don't allow swearing, and if it happens, the kids can call coaches out and coaches call kids out. So there's that accountability piece because you have to be disciplined to win games. And if a team is, undisciplined and they're a little bit chippy, they can lose their heads and they can really hurt them. So whether it's Washington or whoever else we play, we want to keep our heads and we just want to play football. And we want to play clean football within the rules of the game. So we're excited for that. And you can still be physical within the rules of the game. But yeah, we hope our guys do a good job.
Absolutely. You mentioned you had a cornerback get banged up Friday. What's the status on him, and then overall health good after week 1?
I'd say overall health's pretty good after week 1. It will be nice, getting a few guys back and getting Aaron Blom back week 2 is going to be huge. Mason Ford was the guy that banged up his ankle, so he will be touching base with our athletic trainer tomorrow, and then they'll evaluate it from there. But I know now he's just rest, ice compression, elevation, taking care of it. So time will tell. We'll know more Monday, and then Wednesday we'll make the call.
All right. That is Oskaloosa head football coach Jake Jenkins. Coach, thanks for joining us again this week, and go get the Demons on Friday.
Excellent. Thanks for having me.
All right. That is, once again, Jake Jenkins, head football coach at Oskaloosa High School here on the Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm Insurance and the Oskaloosa Hy-Vee.
This is more than a bundle. It's more than a combo deal. It's not just stuff. This is your home, your car, And you want to give them the protection they deserve. With home and auto insurance. State Farm agents get it. It's why they're here.
Call State Farm agent Wendell Campbell at 641-673-4462.
Welcome back to Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell, State Farm Insurance, and the Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. I'm Jamie Brockman, pleased to be joined right now by Oskaloosa head volleyball coach Jennifer Comfort. And, well, when we talked to you last week, Coach, we were kind of previewing what the Indians had to offer on the court this year. Now we've got a chance to see it. Of course, you had a home match earlier this week on Thursday against Bondurant-Farrar, and 3-0, you came out and swept them in your home opener. I know that had to feel good.
It did. It was just great to open that season at home and just to get another match under our belt before we head into conference play.
One thing that I was impressed is, as I look through your roster, I mean, I know you're excited you have 7 seniors this year, which is great when you're building a program, but you've got, basically 3 of your top hitters and your setter back, so you've got that chemistry back from a year ago.
Correct, and they've all grown. They've all worked to develop in the offseason, and just, we're finally seeing that experience pay off, and I really felt that we did last night, or Tuesday night, Thursday, whatever night we played, in the match. When we got ahead, we played really well in that first set, and then when we got down in the second set, they kept their composure, they didn't panic, they had a good sense of urgency, and they just fought back.
Yeah, won the first set 25-7, just dominated Bondurant-Farrar, and then they came out, I want to say they were up like 12-3 or something like that in the second set, and you ended up winning 25-22. So you called a timeout there. What did you talk to your girls about to just kind of fire them up?
Well, I reminded them that they were scoring points because we were making mistakes. It wasn't necessarily things that they were doing well. We weren't passing, and then we were out of system, so we were just hitting free balls over, so they were just having to pass to hit free balls, which anybody can do. So it was just one of those things where I just reminded them that if we took care of our side and made it more difficult on them, we would start scoring points again. So we just refocused, we recentered. I told them that there's plenty of time, no need to panic, and just go back to playing volleyball.
Ended up winning that second set 25-22, and then a back and forth third set, but Oski got the win 25-21, and you got the 3-0 sweep. So let's talk about, you had 4 hitters that had 5 kills or more in the match, and you talked last week about Taylor Wills, how you've asked her to step up her game, and she did. She led the team, her and Faith Durande, with 9 kills each.
Yep, and as outsides are definitely going to carry us at times. Our middles work really hard, but they're called middle blockers. Their job is to block first and then to run offense second. So they work really hard, and they got a lot of good balls and smart swings at the ball too. But yeah, we lean on those outsides quite a bit just because it's a natural position that ends in termination. So both those girls were working really hard for their kills, and again, yes, Taylor, stepped up, I thought, both offensively and defensively.
Jessica Schlesselman and Mary Nelson each had 5 kills. First of all, great to see Mary Nelson back in action on the court after missing all of last year with ACL and knee problems. But yeah, those 2 played well, and then your serving was tremendous all night long.
Yep, again, that's one area that we're focusing on. If we can serve and pass, we can be in a game with anybody. And so just focusing on keeping them, we talk about that the ball has to be in, then it has to be tough, and then it has to be to a specific area. So making sure that the players focus on those 3 things. And
I understand you get a little extra money for every ace serve,
Oh, that is true. Yes, we get $3 from a Garland Lake Camp funeral for every ace serve that we have at home matches. So it is the motivation. We talk about that, when we're doing our serving drills. Serve for those aces, girls.
So how many aces did we have?
We 8 officially.
8? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Defensively, boy, there were a couple rallies there where it just went back and forth, and just some tremendous digs by your back row.
Yep. If you notice, Rizzo Libero, she stepped up and played really, really well, and just had a lot of digs. She was reading the ball very well. She was staying outside the block. She was being in a position where she needed to be. Our middle backs with Taylor and Faith were getting in the holes of the block, and then they were also communicating that back to the blockers about closing those. But they were working around that very well. And then I thought Megan Mormon played a very smart right back. At one point in time, they were trying to go down the line quite a bit, but she picked up a couple tips and let a couple balls that were out go out, and they went away from that. So she played her position very well.
So again, Oskaloosa got the 3-0 sweep in their home opener Thursday over Bondurant-Farrar, 25-7, 25-22, 25-21. Coach, I know another thing that we don't talk a lot about, but I know you're happy, is it was a clean sweep across the board. Freshman, JV, varsity, all swept.
Yeah, that was really fun. That doesn't happen that often for us, so I was very pleased with that. It's just one thing that we always look for. Let's take care of everybody at all levels. We currently only have 6 freshmen. So it is a very small team. They're all working together, playing all the way around, getting after it. So they actually I think they went 3, and their last set was 16-14. So that had to be, I wasn't back there to see it, but it had to be pretty exciting. And the JV came out and took care of Bonneret pretty easily. At one timeout, one of the girls mentioned, they said, "Hey coach, we're letting them make the mistakes instead of us making them for them and scoring." So, they're getting their volleyball IQ is growing, they're understanding the game, and they're becoming a lot more competitive.
So since Thursday, what has the atmosphere been like? Obviously the girls, prove to themselves they can go out and they can win and they can dominate. So did they bring that back to practice on Friday?
They did. We actually had a pretty high energy practice on Friday. Sometimes Fridays can go either way because they're looking forward to something else after practice, which I, encourage them. We've got to take care of business here, and then we can go watch the football team take care of their business. So they came out and they worked really hard. On Friday we like to play triples. So we play 3-on-3. We shorten the court we split the court in half, and then they play 3-on-3. And it actually works on all areas of their skill. They have to pass it, hit, block, set, everything during that time. We mix them all up together, so they're working with different skill levels as well. So it really challenges them as far as their ball control and competitiveness. But then they get to have a lot of energy, celebrate, have fun, and then we work on some other skills.
So when you told me when you hold a team under 10, you have to bring some treats. So did you go home and do some bacon?
I still have to this afternoon, but I did buy ingredients. So yes, if we keep a team under 10 points. It's just a fun celebration to do. It's just I bake them treats. So yeah.
All right. Well, let's look at this week now. I know you got a conference match on Tuesday, and then you got a tournament on the weekend. So let's talk about Tuesday first. You go to Grinnell and you play Grinnell. So first, obviously, you want to start off with a conference win and keep that momentum going. But tell me about Grinnell. What do they bring this year?
I just glanced at them quickly. They have a couple seniors, a couple girls that I recognize their name. It looks like a couple young girls in the mix. I think Grinnell is always competitive. They always work really hard. They're always very scrappy. They're never very tall with hitters that terminate, but they have smart hitters. They'll hit it deep in the corner. They'll hit it down the line. They'll just mix in a lot of shots, and so just being very active and aware on defense will be the key to the match on Tuesday.
All right, and then you get a few days to come in and clean up some things that you maybe found on Tuesday, and then you got a pretty competitive tournament on Saturday.
We do. We go up to Cedar Rapids, Washington. It is a far trip for us. We'll be leaving at 6:15 in the morning. We play at 9 a.m., so that's quite a long ways. But the girls enjoy that tournament because it's teams that we never see. We will see these teams this weekend, and we won't see them again the rest of the year until state. So I know on our pool is Cedar Rapids Xavier, which is currently ranked number 2 in our class. So they're always a very talented team that we like to go up against, but also then get a watch within our pool. I believe Cedar Rapids Kennedy is also in our pool, and I don't remember the other team. But there's quite a few 3A, 4A teams there that are very competitive that we don't get to see.
And obviously, win or lose, you're going to gain a lot of valuable experience there against some pretty big schools.
Absolutely, and that's what we go for too. And you get to play tough competition, but you also get to watch tough competition. So you get to go watch some games, and I can sit there and I can talk to the girls about things that I see that they need to be doing on the court as well. So it's a great opportunity. And then with the long bus trip, they get to have some time to hang out with each other as well. All
right. Well, Coach, congratulations on the sweep on Thursday. Good luck to you this coming week with Grinnell and the tournament. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks.
That is Jennifer Comfort. She's the head volleyball coach at Oskaloosa High School here on Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee.
Oskaloosa, it's our community, and we're thankful to be a part of it. Telling its stories, sharing its smiles. We're building community, keeping you informed, giving you a voice, letting you know you're never alone during the victories and the losses, happiness and pain. For tomorrow's a new day, and we'll be there, working for you, ready to tell your story. That's our commitment. It's what we do, now and in the future, because we're always on. We're Oskaloosa News.
Welcome back to the Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee. I'm Jamie Brockman, and we're going to talk Oskaloosa dance team right now. And we're pleased to be joined today by Coach Katie Kane and a couple of the members of the dance team, a couple of the captains, Jessica Cunningham and Carson Swim are here. So first of all, Katie and girls, thanks for coming in today. It's good to meet you guys, and congratulations. Season's off to a start.
Yes, thank you.
Let's talk about Katie. Let's talk about the team. I know this is kind of a family tradition for you. I know your mom was involved for a long time, and now you take over as the coach. So, and you were a competitor yourself. So, just tell me about your overall pride in this program when you were in school, and now being able to be the head coach.
So my mom started helping when I was in high school, when I was on the dance team. And then I moved away for college, and then when I moved back, I took over as head coach. And so we have a lot of pride in the program. We've really built it to be very competitive, and it's a great program, and we're really proud of it.
Very successful season last year. You came home with 3 state championships. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so last year we were state champs in jazz, pom, and co-ed, and then we had 4th place in hip-hop, and so we had a great year, and I think that this year will be just as good, if not better.
All right. Well, fans got a chance to kind of get a sneak peek at you for the first time on Friday night at halftime of the football game. We're seeing that on the monitor here. So tell me a little bit about this performance and what all goes into this and what category that is.
So this is our kick dance. We just do it for football games, not for state, but we practice a lot, and it's really hard to get all of our kicks perfectly together, and we spend a lot of time practicing. So yeah, and it went really well.
What is your practice schedule and routine?
So we start practicing actually in June, and we practice 2 days a week all summer, and then during the school year we practice about 3 days a week usually, and then end of October we start practicing about 5 days a week until state in December. So we put a lot of hours in and hard work.
Okay, so let's talk about the squad this year now. How many girls do you have, and how many different competitions will you compete in?
So we have 17 girls in our team, which we're really happy with. This is our biggest team we've had. And 11 will compete at state, and we'll compete in 4 categories, and it is the first weekend in December, the 5th and 6th.
Okay.
Yep.
So everything you do between now and then is just building up to the competitions to bring home the big hardware again.
Yep, exactly.
All right. Well, what do you enjoy most about a dance? I mean, you're pretty passionate about this, so what do you enjoy most about it?
I just really enjoy seeing our girls grow as the year goes on and through their whole high school career, not only as dancers but as people too, and so it's really fun.
Do you have a favorite category that you competed in yourself that you kind of maybe?
I think pom's always fun. We always compete in that every year, and it's a lot of hard work, and I would say it's probably usually one of our toughest dances. It's just fun to watch, and it's upbeat.
All right. Well, that is Katie Kane. She's the head coach of the Oskaloosa Dance Dynamics program, and we're going to talk to a couple of the dancers now, a couple of the captains on the team, and we'll start with Jessica Cunningham. And Jessica is a junior, and she's a captain. So, Jessica, tell me about your experience in the Oskaloosa Dance program now in your 3rd year.
So I started on the dance team as a freshman, and I was the only freshman that tried out and that made it. And it's just been a great experience, and we're a big family.
What do you enjoy most?
I think that it is a big family, and it's another home that you can go to away from home.
How many different categories will you be competing in?
4.
All 4.
Yes.
Okay, so how do you manage that? How do you put your schedule together so that you're able to learn all 4 of those and master them?
I've been dancing for many years, so it's a lot of keeping your time put together, and just yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite one of the 4?
I would say pom is pretty fun, but co-ed is also really fun.
Okay. And as a captain, what are some of your responsibilities?
Keeping the team put together and making sure they have their head on straight, and keeping practices run smoothly along with the coaches.
Okay. And obviously you're looking forward to the state competition. So what do you focus on most? What do you work on most between now and December when it comes to competition time?
Making sure the dances look as clean as they can and that they're state ready. Okay.
Well, good. Congratulations on being a captain this year and a 3-year member, and good luck to you and the girls this year as you go. We're going to bring in one of the seniors now who's a captain. This is Carson Swim. So Carson, if you want to step in here quick. And Carson, we mentioned, is a captain and a senior. So have you been in the program all 4 years?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And what are your most memorable experiences so far?
State every year is definitely very memorable. We get to stay the night in a hotel and just bond a lot throughout that whole week. We have a couple of performances and togetherness that we get to do, so that's a lot of fun. We get really close that week.
Okay. And how many competitions or categories are you competing in?
I'll be doing all 4 too.
All 4 also. Okay. So again, is that difficult to try to learn 4 different routines like that are all different one way or another?
Yeah, it can be kind of hard, especially when we're adding in our performance routines too, but we've all been dancing a while, so we kind of get the counts down as we go, so help the new girls.
So as a senior and a captain, let's talk, obviously you want to continue to see this program build, and Katie had mentioned this is the most they've had with 17 dancers this year, so you want to continue to see that build. So what would you say to the younger girls that are out there, or boys, because you have co-ed too,
Yeah.
so what would you say to the younger kids that might be listening right now and watching? What would you say to them about getting involved at a young age and staying with it?
Yeah, Jessica and I both danced when we were younger at a studio, which was really helpful. But a lot of girls just started dancing in high school. 3 of the seniors did not dance all 4 years, so they tried out sometime in high school. So you can definitely join in if you weren't a dancer when you were younger, but we work hard a lot throughout the season, so be ready to work.
Okay, and as a captain, what are some of your main focuses?
Just kind of keeping the team encouraged because it's a very long season. We start in June, so just kind of keep working hard throughout the whole year because we have that goal of state in December.
All right. Well, hey, again, congratulations to you on your success so far, and good luck to you this year. And Katie, once again, if you can, just remind everybody when your competitions are and when people can come and support the Dance Dynamics at State.
Yeah, so we will be performing at all the home football games, and then we compete December 5th and 6th at Wells Fargo in Des Moines.
Okay. Well, congratulations again, and good luck to you girls as you go through the year. And it's always fun to watch you on the field, and we'll look forward to seeing some more state championships in December.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that is Katie Kane. She's the coach of Dance Dynamics. Also, a couple of the captains, Jessica Cunningham Jr. and Carson Swim, a senior, joining us here on the Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve Beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable! And the winner by unanimous decision,
And now on the Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm and Oskaloosa Hy-Vee, we're going to talk about the Oskaloosa Marching Indians, as we are joined right now by first-year band director at Oskaloosa High School, Chris Copeland. Chris, nice to meet you, and thanks for coming in today.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
All right, well, first of all, tell us and the viewers a little bit about yourself and your history prior to coming to Oskaloosa.
Sure, so I'm born and raised in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and lived there for 10 years, and then moved to New Jersey and lived there for 8 years. And then when it was time to go to college, I wanted to come back to the Midwest, and my mom is a Michigan State alum, and I wanted to go to a big school and everything, and so I toured all around the Midwest and found my home at the University of Iowa, and ever since then I've lived in this state. I've been captured by the Iowa Nice, and so after graduating from Iowa, my first job was at Linville Sully, so not too far away from here, just probably about a half-hour drive from here, and was there for 4 years as a 5 through 12 band director. And then after that, I moved over to the Iowa City area and taught middle school band at West Branch for 2 years. And then decided to go get my master's at the University of Northern Iowa. And so I was the band graduate assistant there for 2 years. And this is my first job out of graduate school.
Well, what attracted you to Oskaloosa when you saw the position opening?
Well, I'm very familiar with the area. I actually have a little bit of history with Oskaloosa. I participated in the Oskaloosa Municipal Band in the summer, and I know the director of that, Bruce Pfeiffer. I've known him for several years. And so I've known the area pretty well. I know a lot of the band directors and other coaches in the area as well. So it just felt right to come back in the area, and I've really enjoyed it so far.
Oskaloosa obviously has quite a history when it comes to band, jazz band, and orchestra, and also marching band. And obviously right now your focus is on marching, and we can see on the monitor here your performance from Friday night. Finally, you've been practicing for quite a while, finally got to get out in front of people and do it for real on the field. So first of all, take us through your preseason and band camp and practices leading up to the first performance.
Sure, yeah, we started first full week in August, and had started off with a leadership training. We had someone come in from Winterset, Alan Fire, who does a fantastic leadership training, and he came in and worked with our student leaders. And then after that was a freshman orientation. So this was August 5th and 6th is when that happened. And then we went right into camp afterwards, starting the 7th through 9th, and then had a drill camp where we got to learn our spots on the field for most of the first movement, which is what we performed Friday. And then the following week had a whole week of camp, and then capped it off with our annual car wash on the 17th, and had a fantastic turnout. It was great support from the community. We had 3 locations that helped us out: the Oski Glass in the south side of town there, and O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and then Community First Credit Union there. So. And that was a long 2 weeks, but we got a lot done. The students had a lot of fun, and we're got a great start to the season.
How many members do you have in the marching band this year?
117.
Okay, and that obviously ranges from freshman up through senior.
Mm-hmm.
And so you mentioned all the work that goes into learning this routine. Now I know by the time you go to competition mid-September or so, a few weeks away, you're going to have a much longer program than what we saw Friday night. So what goes into learning the program, and how much time do you spend on each section of it before you're able to put the whole thing together?
Sure. Well, I'll start off with the behind the scenes that goes into selecting the show and getting the drill written and all of that. First of all, we're very fortunate with the staff that we've had in getting the show on the field, starting with our drill writer who does all the formations on the field and everything, and he does drill for quite a few schools, not just in Iowa but also in Illinois, and so his name is Tim Gray. He's a fantastic drill writer, so he was the one that got us our drill. Our color guard choreography is done by Lisa Peters from Creston, and so she was able to go through and get the routine for the guard to learn, and then we got our music from a drum corps writer. His name is Evan Van Doren, so very lucky to have an arrangement by him, and then our percussion by Matt Moore. So just a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. And then when it came to actually learning the drill, we did a lot of this during camp, and Mr. Raymond is the one that's kind of the marching guru. He really has a lot of experience with teaching drill, and we were able to get all the first movement learned at camp, and so it just comes down to repetition, learning spots in the field. All the kids have drill charts where their position is on the field and how many counts to get from one set to another, and what music to play during. It's just so multifaceted. There's just a lot of things going on to learn a show of this magnitude, and so it really is a workout for the students, with so many things going on and being able to perform it in a final product.
So I've been told that it's going to be kind of a new look for the band this year on the field in your competitions, meaning in the past it's been kind of more like traditional marching band style music, and you're kind of coming in and making it fun for the kids. You got all kinds of different movements out there where they're able to run around and have fun together, and a little Queen mixed in there, a little more music, classic rock type of music.
Yeah, this show is a really neat blend of classical music with classic rock, and this actually goes back. This show is kind of an excerpt from a 2011 show done by a drum corps called Carolina Crown, and the music writer who did the show for us, he is the writer behind it, and so it's just a very clever and really creative way of blending Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen and We Are the Champions by Queen, but also Led Zeppelin's Kashmir, and mixing that with music from classical composer Rachmaninoff. And so that hence how we get the classic rock with rock spelled R-A-C-H for Rachmaninoff. So it's very clever, it's really neat, and the biggest thing going into this show, I mean, being new here, I had to lean quite a bit on the directors that are already here and who know the community more than I do, know the kids more than I do. And the kids kind of said that they wanted to have a show that their parents can really identify with, and the community can identify with, and what's more recognizable than Bohemian Rhapsody? So it worked out really nicely.
Absolutely. Well, I know obviously this is all building up to competitions, which you have several of starting, as I said, in a few weeks. So take us through your competition schedule and where you'll be when.
Sure, so we start off September 21st at Johnston. That will be it'll be more of a clinic, but it'll have a competition feel. There will be other schools there, and we'll get scores and things like that. But that's kind of like a trial run of our whole show, and so that'll be the 21st. The following week we'll be right down the road in Pella at the Pella Marching Dutch Invitational, and that will be our first full competition against other schools. And so that'll be on the 28th. The following week on the 5th we'll be in Urbandale at the Urbandale Marching Invitational. And then following that is a big one. That's the Valley Fest competition, and that's the showdown, so that's the evening competition. And that's going to be quite a long day and a huge stadium there in West Des Moines. And then following that is the end of our season on the 19th, and we'll have 2 festivals that day. We have State Marching Festival in Pella that day, and then we cap off the season with a Mid-Iowa Marching Championship in Ankeny.
Which I know has a long history. What is it, 45, 46 years now of Division I ratings, I believe?
Yeah, I believe this year we're going for 48.
Okay.
Yep.
So that is quite impressive right there for the Oskaloosa Marching Indians. So, couple last questions for you. One would be, what are your goals coming in the first year? What do you want to see the band accomplish this year? And 2, let's not forget, we got to mention your drum majors too, the ones that are up there directing the band. So.
Yeah, absolutely. The goals for the most part this year is all student centered. I mean, I really firmly believe that if every student is buying into putting out a show that they can be proud of, all the hard work that goes into this. I mean, it really does take a village to get it to happen, and we have such a great band staff to get that going. We have Rusty Raymond, middle school director, Justin Van Ossen, and our new color guard instructor, Anna Schaefer, who's done a fantastic job, and Phil Cam and Ryan Brenbarger is our percussion instructors. And so, you know, as a staff, our goals are to have this program really just be going in a positive direction, get students excited about making music and doing a show of this magnitude. And then not only, you know, having a great show, but also teaching the students that having good work ethic like this and having a goal in mind, a common goal in mind, is going to transfer to so many things in the future for them. So the biggest thing is making this a learning experience for the students that they could apply for the rest of their lives to other situations.
Absolutely. Well, I know I look forward to seeing the full show once it's all in place. And my daughters were both involved in the Marching Indians for their entire high school career. So I know there's a lot of hard work and time that goes into this. So welcome to Oskaloosa, and good luck to you and the Marching Indians this year.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
That is Chris Copeland. He is the Oskaloosa Marching Band and Band Director at Oskaloosa Community High School. This is the Indians Corner, presented by Wendell Campbell State Farm Insurance and the Oskaloosa Hy-Vee.
Well,
I love it.
I know, right? I saw it and I was just like, oh, I have to have it.
Is it suede?
Suede. Love suede.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Well, I love it. I know, right? I saw it and I was like, have to have it. Is it suede? It's suede. I love suede.
That's why we're there with renter's insurance when things go wrong, but also here with a rewards credit card to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Wendell Campbell in Oskaloosa today.
Thanks for watching this week's edition of the Indians Corner here on the Indians Network, a partnership with MCG, Oski News, and Thunder Country KIIC. Indians Corner presented by Oskaloosa Hy-Vee and Wendell Campbell State Farm. Thanks to our coaches, Jennifer Comfort, Katie Kane, Jake Jenkins, and the band director, Chris Copeland, for joining us on this week's show. And we invite you to join us again next week as we'll continue to keep you up to date on Oskaloosa Indians sports and activities. I'm Jamie Brockman on the Indians Network. Thanks for watching.